If you find yourself disappearing into the background of your own life just to keep someone close, stay here for a moment. You know the feeling. You used to know what you liked, what you thought, what you wanted, and now you are not sure anymore. You have been so focused on them, so busy managing their moods, so exhausted from just surviving, that you have lost the thread of who you actually are. If this is you, stay here for a moment. Here is what to understand about this pattern. It is not a sign that you have no identity. It is not evidence that you are weak or codependent. It is not a failure to be your own person. It is an adaptation, something your nervous system learned to do, because at some point it needed to. It's an energetic memory. Somewhere in your childhood, you learned that your survival depended on focusing on the other person. Maybe you had to monitor a parent's mood to stay safe. Maybe your needs were ignored unless you performed. Maybe the only way to receive love was to become what someone else wanted you to be. Your nervous system learned something specific from this. It learned that your own identity is not safe, that what you want does not matter, that your survival depends on becoming what the other person needs you to be. So you learned to disappear. Not because you wanted to, because your system learned that the safest place to be is in the background of your own life. Here is what that means practically. The identity erosion is not a choice. It is a conditioned response. When you enter a relationship with someone difficult, your nervous system does not evaluate whether it is safe to be yourself. It activates the old learning, the learning that says your identity is dangerous. What you want does not matter. Focus on them, manage them, become what they need. So you shrink. You forget what you want. You stop trusting your own instincts. Not because you are weak, because your body learned that your survival depends on disappearing. This is the resonance angle. What you are carrying inside resonates with what is outside that matches it. If you learn that your identity is not safe, you will be drawn to people who require you to disappear. Not because you want to lose yourself, because the familiar feels like home. And people who make space for you, who want to know what you think, who do not require you to shrink. They may feel wrong. Not wrong because they are wrong. Wrong because your nervous system does not recognize them. They do not fit the template. They do not activate the familiar pattern of self-abandonment. The person who makes you lose yourself is not more important than you. They are familiar, and the erosion you feel is not proof that you have no identity. It is the cost of a pattern that was never updated. Here is what this pattern is costing you. You do not know what you want anymore. You have spent so long focused on them that your own desires have become a whisper. You do not trust your own instincts, because every time you have followed them, you were told you were wrong. You feel like a ghost in your own life, present enough to serve, but not present enough to be. And underneath the erosion, there is a younger part of you that learned that who you are is not welcome. That part is still waiting for someone to say, you are allowed to take up space. What you want matters. You do not have to disappear to be loved. In the session that follows, we are going to work with this pattern directly. Not by trying to figure out who you are. Not by making a list of your preferences. By going into the body, where the disappearance lives, and updating what the nervous system believes about your own identity. The session will guide you through the felt sense of the erosion, the beliefs beneath the self-abandonment, the younger part of you that learned that your survival depends on losing yourself. And then it will resource that part with something it did not have back then. Your presence as an adult, your capacity to be with what arises, and a deeper truth about who you actually are. Beneath the disappearance. Let's now go to the integration session. If you find yourself fadding in the background of your own life just to keep someone close, stay here for a moment. Take a slow breath and arrive here. You do not need to analyze anything. Let the words land where they land. Your body will take what it needs. This material is emotionally activating by design. It works by meeting what you are carrying directly. To get the full benefit and stay present rather than overwhelmed. Tap gently on a single point as you listen. If you know AFT, you can use all 9 points. But using only a single point, such as karate chop or collarbone, keeps your attention inside the feeling, rather than tracking where to tap next, and is just as effective. And begin. I now recall how this pattern shows up in my life. I tend to lose touch with my own identity when I am in certain relationships. I often become more focused on the other person than on myself. I typically stop trusting my own needs, preferences, or instincts around others. I regularly shrink myself to maintain a connection. I frequently forget what I actually want when I am entangled with someone. If this resonates, we will now gently connect with the emotional experience behind this pattern. I lose touch with who I am in certain relationships. I become more focused on them than on myself. I stop trusting my own needs, preferences, or instincts. I shrink myself to maintain the connection. I forget what I actually want when I am entangled with them. I become a version of myself built around survival. I feel like I disappear inside difficult dynamics. I abandon my truth to preserve the bond. I feel less like myself the longer I stay. I struggle to remain grounded in my own identity around toxic people. Even though I lose myself in relationships and become a version built around survival. This pattern is just a passing experience arising in consciousness. Not who I really am. I feel so small when I am with them. My voice disappears and I cannot find it. I hold my breath to stay safe. Why do I always have to shrink? I am so tired of pretending. My chest feels hollow and tight. I think I am nothing without them. Notice how this feels in your body. I will do anything to keep them close, even if it means losing me. I feel like I am drowning in their needs. Breathe into the heaviness. There is no room for me here. I am so angry at myself for disappearing again. I cannot feel my own heart anymore. Let the body soften a little. I am disappearing and nobody notices. Maybe I was never really here at all. My mind keeps saying I am not enough. I watch myself fade and I cannot stop it. This is just what happens in my body when I try to hold on. I am terrified of being alone without them. Even being erased feels safer than leaving. I remember now that I used to know what I wanted. Notice how this thought moves through you. I am nothing but a mirror for what they need. I can stay here with this feeling without it destroying me. My awareness remains steady even as this wave moves through. I am not collapsing, I am simply present with what is here. Underlying beliefs. Perhaps I believe that my worth depends entirely on keeping others close. Maybe I think that my own needs will inevitably drive people away. It is possible I believe that being myself is dangerous or unacceptable. I could be carrying the belief that love requires self-surrender. Possibly I learned that my truth is less important than the bond. There may be an emotional mechanism of fawning. I automatically merge with the other to prevent abandonment. It is conceivable that my ego plays out a role of the good one, the one who never asks for anything. I may be trying to control the relationship by erasing myself. because my authentic presence feels too risky. These beliefs are patterns from past experiences where I had to survive by disappearing. They are not the true self. I am outgrowing the identity of the invisible caretaker who must abandon herself to be loved. That structure once served to keep me safe, but it no longer aligns with who I am now. Adult self, gently turn toward your inner child. I am sorry to my inner child who experienced that love meant losing yourself. I am sorry you learned that your presence was too much and your absence was the price of connection. You are safe now to feel whatever arises. Your awareness is the stable home I never had. All emotions are temporary visitors. I, your adult self, am the one who stays, watches, and holds you. Inner child speaks. You see me. You actually see me disappearing. Maybe I can try a tiny breath without checking their face first. Adult speaks. I give you permission to heal from the need to vanish. I give you permission to forgive yourself for every time you shrank. I release any guilt and shame you carry for abandoning yourself. I honor our journey together through all those silent rooms. I love you exactly as you are, not as you learn to be. You are safe to let go and be yourself because I am here now and always to protect you. The feelings of disappearing are passing experiences, not defining reality. Now that we've felt and honored the experience, allow understanding and light to arise naturally. Message from higher self. You never lost yourself. You only learned to hide. The old belief that love requires your disappearance was an illusion born of a moment when survival meant folding inward. But that moment passed, and you remained. Your true self was never touched by any shrinking, any forgetting, any survival version you built. It watched it all, patient and whole. Today, the truth restores your calm. You are not the one who fades. You are the awareness in which fading arises and dissolves. Thoughts, fears, and emotional reactions are temporary appearances in consciousness. You, the real you, are always free, always present, always intact. Filling the void. I feel the ground beneath me as I stay present in my own body. There is a quiet backing behind me, supporting my right to exist without earning it. I can hold my own experience without collapsing into theirs. I feel a subtle permission to move forward, even one small step, without asking first. My orientation shifts inward. I can feel what I feel, and that is my direction now. The ask, inner child. I give myself permission to feel the tiniest sense of my own feet on the floor, even while someone else is in the room. I allow a small breath to stay mine, not held or shaped for them. Adult self. I choose to stay present with myself while I notice what I actually want, even if I do not act on it yet. I pause for 1 second before responding, and in that pause I feel that I am still here. Higher self. I allow the experience of grounded presence to unfold in my body in its own timing. Without forcing clarity or change, I release control over how this integration looks, and simply let sensation arise and pass within stable awareness. Bridge into your new reality. I used to feel myself disappear the moment connection deepened, and now I notice a small anchor of sensation staying with me even as I engage. Where before I would stop trusting my own instincts without realizing it, now I feel a subtle hum of my own knowing beneath their voice. In the past, shrinking felt automatic and invisible. But today I catch a fraction of a second where my spine stays long and my breath is still mine. Reclaim your power. I choose to release the disempowering belief that love requires my erasure. And I embrace the learning that every time I stayed small, I was simply trying to survive. I witness my own process with compassion. The self watching this pattern is never lost, never shrunken, and always capable of choice. Seeing it done, I imagine myself feeling solid and quietly present in a relationship. I see myself now listening to someone without losing the sensation of my own breath, my own feet on the floor, my own quiet preferences humming in the background. I notice a thought arise that says, maybe I should agree. And instead of acting, I just notice it. I feel a gentle smile inside. I am not performing. I am not surviving. I am simply here. And the connection does not demand my disappearance. In this parallel reality, I belong to myself first. And from that place, I can truly meet another. The real self witnesses all of this with calm, steady recognition. My inner child now feels how safe it is to breathe freely while someone else is present. I finally know that my needs and their needs can both exist without anyone vanishing. My body remembers what it feels like to stay grounded, visible, and gently alive in connection. This is just how a nervous system learns, slowly, gently, through small moments of feeling different. There is nothing dramatic here. Just a body remembering what safety feels like. Now experience a new future. I am with someone. The moment arrives where I would normally begin to fade. I feel the old flicker in my chest. The slight holding of my breath. But this time I do nothing to fix it. I just notice. My feet are still on the floor. My spine is still here. I take a slow, quiet inhale, and I feel my ribs expand without asking permission. Their voice continues. But I also feel my own pulse in my wrists. I am not disappearing. I am here inside my own skin. My stomach is soft. My jaw is not clenched. I realize I have a preference about something small. And instead of burying it, I just let it sit there. I do not have to say it. I just let it exist. A thought comes, they might leave. And I feel that thought as a wave in my chest. And then I feel the wave pass. I am still breathing. I am still here. My attention moves between them and me. Like a slow, gentle pendulum. I am not performing. I am not surviving. I am simply existing in the same space as another person. And neither of us is being erased. I feel a quiet satisfaction. Like a low hum in my belly. This is not dramatic. This is normal. My inner child watches from inside and feels the room. No one is asking me to shrink. No one is even looking for me to perform. I am just here. And that is enough. The conversation ends naturally. I feel my breath release, not in relief, but in completion. I am me again. I was me the whole time. This is what safety feels like. This is ordinary now. Allow this felt sense to continue integrating naturally in the body and in life. Take a deep breath, feel the shift, and smile. Let this settle gently. There's nothing you need to do right now. You can return to this whenever you feel called. Be gentle with yourself. If something in this session landed for you, and you noticed a moment where a familiar feeling, belief, or memory surfaced, that is exactly where the work goes deeper. I can create a personal audio session built around your exact experience of losing yourself in a relationship. It is free, made specifically for you, and it works. Check the link in the description to request yours.